Guys, once again, thank you for watching. Today we're sitting here with Shanae
Yes, that's right.
Williams. I got her name down because she used to drive me crazy. Every time I said Shanae, she would say, no, it's not Shanae.
Only took 2 years. That's
2
all right,
years,
though.
could be worse, Shanae. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you
for
for
sitting
having me.
here. Today is one of those How Am I Doing episode with Councilwoman Shanae for the 1st District in Yonkers. Thank
Yes,
you, Shanae.
thank you, Ro.
Shanae, we're starting a new decade, 2020.
We're in it.
We're in it. Like it or not, we're in it.
Yes.
And there is no going back.
Right.
I heard that you have great plans, but we also hear that the council team, in terms that everybody can understand, looks like a dysfunctional family.
Well, let's give it a chance. Let's give it a chance. We are a new council. I wouldn't say that we're a dysfunctional family just yet, but we do have some things that I hope that we can work together on.
Okay, so we are going to start this interview from the end, from the things that happened last, and then we're going to work ourselves back and the promises that you made or the things that you're hoping to achieve.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the last council meeting. I was there,
Reorganization, correct.
the reorganization. I could feel the tension and the vibration on
There-
voices,
yeah?
your voice, Tasha Dia's voice, the majority council now a member, Coração Pineda. And I felt it, and I'm sure that a lot of people in Yonkers felt it because we were broadcasting it live. What was going on? Is that some kind of a back deal going on? Because look, you had a good point. If we have the majority Democratic, why do we have to give key positions to the Republican Party? Just doesn't make sense. Can you explain?
Well, so the way it works is we have 7 members on the council, and one person is chosen by the council to be the majority leader, one person is chosen to be the minority leader. And typically, it makes sense that you have majority, you have Republicans and Democrats voting together on this because we've never really had a supermajority. But with the
We do
fact
now.
we do now, the fact that we have a supermajority, I thought it would make the most sense to have the majority chosen by the majority caucus, which is the Democrats. Unfortunately, not everyone saw eye to eye on that, and that's the result that we see. I'm, totally fine with Corazon being majority leader. She is a senior member on the council. However, the process in which everything took place was not correct. It was an issue for me personally, only because I do not feel that she needed to go to the Republicans to get her votes. She could have worked with us within the caucus and work out the issues that we had, but she decided to go and make deals before we even met as a caucus.
Well-
and that's the issue.
Well, that's one of the problems. You did not need her to go across the border. I think you
She could have had the 4 votes
Exactly.
within the 5
Exactly.
Democrats.
She
Absolutely.
could have had the votes within the Democrats.
Right.
She did not need. So what was the reason why she went across the border? It's good to work across the border with the other party as well, when necessary.
So I told Corazon I would have initially supported her for leadership if she had the support of the caucus.
Which she did.
Specifically Mike Cater and Tasha Diaz. And it became apparent to me that she did not have their support, and so that is why she decided to go and get the support elsewhere. That is why she decided to give budget committee away to Republican Anthony Morante. That is why she decided to give real estate to John Rubo, who has no real development in his district, when all of the development is happening in my district, her district, and Tasha Diaz's
Correct.
district, which is on the south side of Yonkers. And so that was also something that is troubling to me. But I think for the sake of, just goodwill and just working together to get through and get the issues addressed that we need to address, I think it is important that we just put all of it aside and just work together and accept John Rubo for the new Democrat that he is. So.
Look, I personally have no issues with John
Yeah.
Rubo, Mr. Morante. I have no issues with anyone.
I think they're wonderful people. I don't agree with their their governing style and I don't believe in some of the issues that they hold dear. I think we don't see eye to eye in certain things. Like, for example, I don't see eye to eye with John Rubel on affordable housing, and that's a fact. We've certainly had some conversations in the past about that, and he seems to have a very different idea of how to solve the affordable housing crisis that I, have been talking about for the past couple of years.
Well, Councilwoman, that's exactly what the problem is.
Right.
Mr. Rubel was a Republican until not long ago.
Right.
He voted,
and now he's a conservative Democrat.
Now it's a conservative Democrat, but he always voted in matters of housing according to the line of the Republican line. So now you have a Democrat majority, and you're giving a position of power to somebody who was a conservative Democrat. It just doesn't make much sense to us.
Well, when you want to secure your votes, in her mind, it made perfect sense. She had to do what she had to do, and I'm not knocking it. I just don't think that it was good leadership skills being exuded by her. I think she could have done better and tried to work out the issues that Tasha and Cater and myself might have had with her before she went and made those deals with the Republicans.
Tasha, on her very first, I'm not going to ask you this question because this is a question for her to answer. But since we're here, and I ask questions that the people of Yonkers might want to know, and since you were involved, I'm going to put it to you, not just as an answer to the question, but about what you think. Tasha abstained on her very first official vote as a councilwoman. Some people are not happy with it. I understand, because according to what I hear from my sources, she was not told the truth. She was kind of misled in one way or the other. Okay, and instead of voting for something that she didn't agree or she did not know much about it, it's best to abstain. Do you agree with that assessment or no?
I think that Tasha was put in a tough position politically, and I think that's why she voted the way that she did. I know for a fact that she wasn't supportive of Corazon per se, but I do think that in her defense, she wanted to start the new year off on a positive note, and by staying out of this vote, it kind of gives her that leeway to try and at least build a relationship of some sort with Corazon, who clearly had the votes to be majority leader. So, and I think in her defense, I think she made a good decision for her, but I don't think the point should be missed in that Corazon should have made more of an effort to work with Tasha, myself, and my cater, and listen to the issues that we had. I'm sure you'll be interviewing my cater later, but he'll talk about some of the issues that are important to him and that he wanted to get done, which he was hoping Corazon would say, hey, this is something I'm going to work with you if you give me the support for leader. That didn't happen. Issues dealing with gas station. You can talk to him about that. You can ask him about that if you want. I don't want to speak for him. But for me, I just feel like I know that Corazon can do the job of majority leader.
There is no question.
There's no question. It's not rocket science, but I do think that in order for this caucus to work and work well moving forward, there needs to be some conversations about what specific issues we are going to attack and address as a caucus and make sure that they get done, being that we have this supermajority.
Yeah,
and that's just where my concern lies.
Right, because key position, budget,
right,
housing, they sit on the Republican line now.
Right.
And we have a Democrat majority, so it's not sitting well. Now, since we're starting from the end, you voted. I don't know what I'm voting for, but I voted no. It was
like a weird. So the reason why I said that was it was weirded.
How it was
worded weird to me in that I guess they were asking if anyone wanted to change their mind and how they voted, and I guess so. I just wasn't really thinking too much about it, but yes, I wasn't looking to change my vote. My vote was a no, and.
But Shanae, maybe the way it came across.
Yeah.
Because what we hear is, she does not know what she's voting for, but she's voting no.
I knew that I couldn't vote for whatever they were voting for.
Okay.
So
whatever you're voting for, I'm going against it. Let's move. Let's fast now forward this. Housing, landlords, laws, protection, people of your district, because those things affect more of your district than anybody else. What's going on with that? Where are we at that? On that, in that field of protection against tenants and landlords?
I'm sorry.
Registry.
I know that you're talking about the landlord registry that Corazon
things that
introduced?
Corazon, you were part of it.
Yes.
Things like that. Yes.
So the state passed some really tough protections, for tenants, some tenants' rights, just this past year. And so the things that go into effect for that, really, the city council, all we can do is just help our constituents learn about those new rights that they have. But it's really not something that I need to necessarily do anything new on the council. What we were trying to do in years past with the registry that Corazon introduced is make sure that it's available to residents online. And that's still something that we will be going back to this term to try to make sure that it's up and running and that residents understand who these landlords are that have violations for whatever reasons in their buildings. And it'll be, the whole goal is to have more transparency throughout the city and to help residents know what's happening before they take the step and move into a certain building, for example. Now,
Shanae, we have an audience, watching this live, and there is a question here from Shea Van Yor. I don't know if this is a real name or not, but it's a real issue.
Okay.
But it's an issue that we already passed. But maybe we want to answer. Let's talk about, let me read exactly what it says. Why do you think it was a good idea to vote to extend term limits for yourself without consulting the constituents? Did you and your council members not let the citizens of Yonkers decide instead of deciding amongst yourselves?
Okay, so here's a valid question. Why do I think it was okay to vote for term limits? And I've answered this time and again. However, I'll just reiterate in case he missed it. I voted for term limits because I do believe that it's important to have term limits in place, but it's more sensible to have longer terms and shorter terms, because that way, if you are elected by the body of people that you represent, and you are doing a good job in their eyes, and they should be able to say if they want you to continue on. And if you start something and you are elected by them, then you can finish that job. Term limits doesn't take that vote away from the residents. If you are not doing a good job, then you can get voted out. That's the way that the voting process works. So me voting for term limits, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't me just deciding without talking to constituents, because we did have public hearings. Folks did come and speak. I did have conversations, and emails were sent both to me and my colleagues. So I hope that answers your question. It is something that I think you might disagree, but I think it was the right thing to do for the future of Yonkers. And I'm not saying that I voted for terms because I want to have a safe position here for the next 12 to 14 years. That's not the case. The case is we should have options, and if you like what someone's doing, they should be able to run if they're encouraged to do so. And if you like what they're doing, you vote for them. If you don't, then you won't.
So picking up on what Shanae just said, remember, the vote was not on eliminate term limits, was on extending term limits.
Right.
Those are two different things. But you have the last decision. If the person is already been there for 2 years, and you don't like what the person has been doing, vote him out.
Right.
We could have 10 terms.
Right.
What prevents you from...
Most municipalities throughout Westchester do not have any term limits at all, just to make that clear. Yonkers is unique in that we do have term limits in place because the people wanted it, but the number of terms really is not, that was what we voted on in extending the terms. Instead of having 2 terms, we now have 3.
Now, it just came to my mind, and I'm sorry if I have to go back a little bit to what happened on the last council meeting. People are saying, our sources are saying, that a meeting took place or was requested back in November to discuss exactly what happened on the last council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
There was a long time waiting for that meeting to happen. It never happened. Then on that day of the hearing, all of a sudden, okay, we can have the meeting this morning. But to a lot of people,
I would have preferred not to have the meeting the morning of. I've tried to have the meeting a few days before.
So that happened then. You confirm.
Yes, but the new leader and John Ruba did not want to meet before. I guess because of the holidays. I'm not sure what the reason was, but their schedule wasn't available until the morning of.
Some people call these a rigged election.
You guys can draw your own conclusions.
You draw your own conclusion because meetings are made to give you the tools to digest, to vote in a way that you understand the issue.
Right.
It seems like that meeting, the decision of the outcome of that meeting was already preset.
Exactly.
Exactly?
That's exactly right. We walked into that meeting knowing that all of our requests and concerns really wasn't necessarily too important and it wasn't going to be addressed because we already knew through the grapevine that deals were made for certain folks to get whatever committees and things like that. So
that raises a big problem. Transparency. It seems like, what about if there is other issues that are resolved in the same format and the same manner?
Right.
So that raises a big problem.
Right.
And that's why sometimes people say that Yonkers is a city of hills because deals are made in the closet. Then the council or whoever gets together because it's protocol, not because something is going to happen. So that raises a problem, Shanae.
I agree.
A serious problem to the people of Yonkers. And that's why sometimes people don't have the trust in government because they think it's all an optical illusion, a make-believe.
And that's fair.
Isn't it fair?
Not everything is as transparent and open as it should be, but I think that's something that we have to work toward moving it forward.
What are you going to do to move it forward and work on that?
I am going to do everything I can to work with my council colleagues to make sure that we have committee meetings and discuss issues, not just have conversations amongst ourselves and off camera, but certainly to put it to you. So, like, for example, to do exactly this, have town hall meetings virtually. I personally will be having at least 3 pre-scheduled town hall meetings throughout the year.
With whom?
With my constituents. I have a flyer made up just for them to save the dates. There's one coming up in February. I think every quarter I'll be doing a town hall meeting in my district.
But how? Cyber town hall or in person?
In person.
Are reporters supposed to be there?
You can be there, absolutely.
You're
welcome. I would love for you to be there.
If I get kicked out again, you guys heard it.
You're personally getting an official invite to all of my town hall meetings. I will not kick you out. No one on my staff will kick you out.
You guys heard it. Now, Shanae, we just got the new firehouse right here in Yonkers, your district. Important for the people of your district because now fire department can respond much quicker. Yes. Not that they took a long time to respond because I think we have a top-notch fire department.
Absolutely.
But now we're going to have a top-notch fire department.
Well, it's not so much of a new firehouse. Yes, it is.
It is a new building.
It is a new building, but it really is just replacing what was already there. And it is a necessity in this community. Certainly, we have a lot of old buildings. You've covered a number of fires in my district and others. It is essential that we have this firehouse there. I think we need more. Certainly on the waterfront with all the new development going on, we definitely need one down there. And I know that money's tight, so I can't say that we're going to pay for one right now, but I would love to see that in the future.
Well, Shanae, I have to tell you this. I covered a lot of events, press conference with the Mayor Mike Spano, yours, and the other council people. And the common denominator among all of you is that a lot of people are moving into Yonkers. Yonkers, it's increasing. Yonkers is getting larger and larger. And they don't need to tell us this. We just go on Alexander Street and we can see those buildings.
It's a growing city.
It's a growing city.
Right.
With growth comes other needs.
Come more, exactly.
We need more fire.
We need more resources.
More resources, period. Police, fire, EMS, first responders, everything.
Right.
But we're not seeing much of that happening.
Right.
And we already have a problem with taxes. Taxes are increasing. as things are, so it's going to increase even more because more need of resources are going to be. So what plans are we doing? What plans are we doing to have Yonkers ready for the growth that we
I
are?
think you bring up a very good point. It is absolutely crucial that we match the resources with the number of people in our city. And that's why this year especially is so important because it's 2020. We have our census that's going to be taken this year. And with that, we need to make sure we have the accurate count of folks that are living in Yonkers. That way we'll be able to get the right amount of monies from our federal government so that we can fund these things, so that we can have more police, so that we can have more firefighters and things like that.
Yeah, Lion Gate is coming to town.
I still haven't heard a word from Lion Gate personally. I have never met with them. I don't know how accurate that is at this point, but I take your word for it. You're everywhere, you know.
I heard they're coming, and when they come, they're going to be
in my district.
In your district.
It would be great because that would mean jobs for the residents here, but
we don't have anything solid yet to say, okay.
Nothing tangible, nothing on my desk.
Now, what about MGM? I know it's not your district, but
well,
it's in your city.
It affects everyone in Yonkers because a lot of people, we travel to the casino to work or to enjoy the services that they have there. So it is important for every Yonkers resident, I think, that we have this conversation. What is your question about MGM? What do you want to know?
No, not question. My point was I was saying that the city of Yonkers is growing so quickly. There is people moving in. We are making Yonkers the place for new companies to come.
Right.
MGM is coming. Right. Lion Gate might be coming. And there is other.
Yes, if you don't mind, I'm just going to make a quick announcement.
By all means, yeah. Is it exclusive for Yonkers Voice?
Well, I don't think it's exclusive for Yonkers Voice.
Because I can beep this.
It's something that I just want to share that is happening in my community.
By all means.
When it relates to MGM. Simple invite for everyone watching. MGM will be going to the Neperhan Community Center tomorrow to meet with the residents of the Hudson River Community Association, where they'll be able to answer all of your questions and let you know about their plans moving forward and what they're going to be doing in Yonkers. And so it will be great if you can come out. It's going to be at 7 or 7:30. Don't quote me
around
on that,
time.
But it's around 7:30 p.m. I think 7:30 p.m. actually.
Is there a number people can call for information that you got off your head? Or
You can call my office and I can get you the exact information. It's 914-377-6311. But they do have a website, the Hudson River Community Association. They do have a website, so you can just Google their name. It's at the Neperhan Community Center, which is 342 Warburton Avenue. Come with your questions and be open-minded and ready to listen and learn.
Now, Shanae, your district is not the same as the 5th District and others. You have problems that they don't have there.
That's right.
Or better yet, they have much less of those certain problems that you have here. What is the most important issue in your district that you need to address? And what have you done to address it?
We have a lot of, throughout the city of Yonkers, we have a lot of quality of life issues. But I think people feel it and see it more in the 1st District, certainly in the downtown area with the homeless population and the number of people on drugs and so on and so forth, and that's wandering the streets in the square. That is something that I know that our police department is working on. I've seen them, they've been around walking, driving, and I think it's really a good thing under the leadership of our new commissioner. However, we still have to find a way to provide real low-income and affordable housing for residents. We need more services for the mentally ill. We need so much more, and we need our partners in the county to help us address that. And that's when we'll see, things really change for residents in my district. Is when all partners on all levels of government come together and work together to solve this issue.
So guys, let me just read the address for the event that it's coming up tomorrow. January 8th, 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Neperhan Community Center located at 342 Warburton Avenue. So
right,
show up.
Right.
Okay, you were right. Show up, get involved, because one of the biggest problems that I see, Shanae, is that a lot of people have problems. And we talk a lot about those problems, but we need to focus on possible solutions.
Right.
Okay? And sometimes for you to find those solutions, you need to get involved. You have council meetings,
Yes.
nobody shows up. I have been in a few.
That's because they're watching it live.
But we started this, and I'm
It's a
glad we
joke.
did. No, it's not a joke. Actually, it's serious.
It
And
is. I would love to see the council room, the council chambers packed with residents, just engaged in what we do, because we are working on your behalf, and it is important, the issues that we cover, whether we're passing local laws or resolutions, it doesn't matter. It really affects your everyday life.
It does. And let me take this opportunity. Since she mentioned cyber meetings, thank you to Mike Cater, because he was the very first person in the council that took a chance to sit down with us for a cyber town hall. And it has been very successful.
Yeah.
We have thousands of people watching because they can watch from their offices, from home.
Right.
Okay. Otherwise, they can.
It's convenient.
It's convenient.
Right.
So we have to adapt. And there is a big cyber town hall coming up on the 15th. So let me make this announcement. It's something that everybody should watch, participate and ask questions. It's a cyber town hall, the very first one in the history of Yonkers, a cyber town hall with the Yonkers Police Commissioner, Mr. John Moeller. He's going to be sitting with Yonkers Voice, and he's going to be addressing issues that affects policing, that affects community, affects social environment. So it will be a great opportunity to engage. So on the 15th of this month, January 15 at 3 p.m. Stay tuned. Now, what are the things that you want to address first for your district, Shanae? The most important things.
These are
they're all
things that
important.
I campaigned on. These are things that I started to work on 2 years ago. Like I mentioned with the housing issue, dealing with the homeless, that is still a problem for me, and that is still something that I'm going to fight for, and I'm going to try to find creative ways and creative solutions to address them. But certainly, the main thing that I really would love to get done in this new year or the next 4 years is to strengthen our affordable housing ordinance. That is still very much on my agenda. It is something that I've actually just had a conversation minutes before our meeting here with my new colleague Tasha Diaz and with the Council President Mike Cater, and I'm sure we'll be discussing it within our caucus and as a whole on the City Council. We have to provide more affordable housing. People need housing. It is their fundamental right, and I'm not going to give up on that. Another big issue that I really have to focus on is our education district, making sure that our children get the services that they need. In the near future, I'll be going to Albany with my colleagues, and we'll be talking to our state delegation there. They've always been helpful in the past, certainly was last year and the year before, in making sure that we were able to balance our budget and make sure that we didn't make any cuts to education. So that's very important to me, and I'm hoping that they can help us again. But we really need to find a more permanent solution instead of just one-shot deals.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for the help that they've given, and I think that we do need to work with our mayor and with our state delegation to do more for our students. Outside of that, I really would love to just focus on our parks. The parks in my district are in very poor condition.
Especially in your district.
Yes, whether it's Vark Street Park or Trevor Park,
Riverdale,
we
Hill.
have to provide for the residents here and make them feel safe in their neighborhood, and it goes with the little things such as just renovating and enhancing our parks, for example. There's so many different issues, Rue, but those three things: quality of life issues, keeping our streets clean, making sure that that people have homes that they can go home to every day, making sure that we are spending the monies correctly within our school district so that our kids will benefit more than anything. That's what's really important to me, and that's what I have to find ways of addressing them.
Now, Shanae, in every aspect of our lives, doesn't matter if it's on a professional level, love level, home level, family level, there is always things that we wish we could do, but we don't do because of A, B,
There's
and
always
C.
going to be challenges.
What challenges? Give us an example of something that you want to do that you have challenges in doing, and what are those challenges?
Well, we know for example, let's go back to the affordable housing. One of the main challenges is that if we change the ordinance from 10% and increase that to 18 or even 20%, we know that there are developers that are fighting that don't feel like they can accommodate that kind of change. And so that's a challenge. We want them to come here and invest in Yonkers, but we have to put the residents first. And that is where we see some challenges, but I think that we can work through it. We just have to continue to push forward, and we have to make it a public issue. We need the public to stand behind us on this in order for any change to come. Because I can scream at the top of my lungs. If it's just one person doing that, it's not going to make a difference.
Well, Shanae, I remember when you were running, I heard your speech at the public school, and I heard your opponent's speech when you said exactly that. And I have spoken to other people about that, from 10 to 18, probably 20%. They say it's not realistic. They're not going to go for it. But then again, there were a lot of other things that are happening now that 30 years ago they said were not realistic.
The only way it happens is if the supermajority that we have come together and vote together on something like this, and if, of course, the mayor doesn't veto it.
And hopefully the supermajority that we have will be taken advantage of and not go across the line.
That's what I would love to see happen.
So guys, majority, an election have consequences. That's what they say. Yeah. And if the people of Yonkers voted for a majority Democratic, it's because we want the Democratic line.
We have to put our egos and whatever else aside and really just focus on the issues at hand and make sure that we're doing the right thing by the people.
Yeah. Yonkers Voice, we don't care if it's a Republican or if it's a Democrat. I'm as liberal as they come. Right. But when it comes to the page, I support the people of Yonkers. We do this for the people of Yonkers. So you guys know where Shanae stands, where Corazon stands, where the council stands, the mayor, and all the others. We do this for you, so you understand, you digest, and you make your own opinions about things based on what you hear. What else is coming, Shanae? I heard you getting married.
Where did you hear this?
Oh boy, I have sources.
I haven't heard that. I don't see a ring on this
I
finger,
have sources.
I am not getting married. I don't know what that's about.
Let me tell you. Shanae,
if you know something I don't know, that would be nice for you to share.
Shanae, I remember 3 years ago or 2 years ago, we went to Mr. Spano, to Mayor Spano, and I said, Mayor, I heard you running for another term. He said, no, man. You know, I'm not running. Believe me that I'm not running. A few years later, you was.
Maybe you're speaking something into existence, I don't know, but I am not getting married, I promise you that right now.
No, can you promise me something else?
What's that?
If you decide to get married or if you get engaged, give us that exclusive.
I promise.
On that note, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Our next interview today is with Council President Mike Cater. I hope you stay in, you watch, you ask questions. But remember, your questions must be presented in a polite way, or you take the risk of being bounced from all of Yonkers Voice platform. We want to make this platform comfortable enough that our elected officials feel comfortable to come here and talk to the people of Yonkers. There is no other way, okay? This is how we do it, and this is the way we will continue to do it. We support all, and we endorse none. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.